to the title of the video, right, and titled it, the Morocco earthquake as well as 9/11, because um, just like, what is it? Either it was yesterday or earlier this morning, there was a earthquake that took place over in Morocco, and so far the death toll is about 3,000 people. And then tens of thousands are either now homeless due to their houses being destroyed by this earthquake. Of course, there's thousands injured, but there's about 3,000 people that are confirmed dead right now. So that's something that just happened. And then of course we can't forget, with today being September the 11th. So the 9/11 event that happened 22 years ago now. Which, fun fact, by the way, this last year I actually went to the memorial, right? If you're not familiar with what that is, basically where the Twin Towers used to stand, after they cleaned up the debris of, when the towers collapsed. Now they erected two memorials there, and basically it's like hard to describe, but it's like a triangle shape. It has a waterfall in the middle, and around the outer side of it, it has the names of all of the the people who died in that event. Right, it's set up very nicely. I just went there last year. I believe it was in, I want to say, August. But I got a picture of me there. Where the towers used to stand. But anyway, as far as the 9/11 event, which I've seen just before I went live, I was just looking on YouTube, to see what everybody else is up to tonight. And there's some dudes out there, doing streams about 9/11. Like say, for an example, a dude that comes to mind is this guy that calls himself Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, which I call his ass chained mind, right? His mind, he is fully chained, right? His mind is fully chained. The dumbass is on there. Like all he knows is Mandela effect this, Mandela effect that. And if you don't agree, I mean, you must be being paid by somebody to disagree. I mean, this is the level of stupidity that people have out here, man. But, one thing I find funny, which, shit, I should have uploaded this video today. I have a video in my private section. And for those of you that have a YouTube channel, you know what I'm talking about. You can upload a video on YouTube, but you can keep it private, so only you get to see it. But then in the future, if you want, you can either make it public or you can set it to unlisted. So that means, let's say for an example, if I have a buddy of mine that I want to show him something, a video on my page that's in private, and I don't want everybody else to see it, I can put it to unlisted, and I can send him a link to it, and he can view it, even though it's not publicly available. So that's what the unlisted feature is, for those of you who are familiar with YouTube and how it works, or if you're not familiar with how it works, now you know. But I have a video of a conversation between myself and Fully Chained Mind. I want to say it was like from 2 months ago, and we were having a conversation about, the 9/11. And even though we both agree that it was, if we know, bear with me a second. Just had to catch my breath real quick. We both can agree that it was a, inside job, where, of course, the government had involvement with the event, of course. I mean, to pretend it's something else other than that is just stupid. But where he lost me at is the idiot went on to say that, well, no planes were used, right? So when the towers were brought down, no airplanes were used. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? But and again, this isn't something that only he's saying. I mean, I've heard the idea before. Or, on YouTube, we got idiots out there, posting up their conspiracies and theories about, many different topics. So the idea that, no airplanes are used, in the attacks, I'm familiar with the idea. I call it pure bullshit, but I know about the idea. And what they basically claim is all of the footage we have on the internet or from the news about, airplanes hitting the towers, right? That's all fake. It's all CGI just to scare people, but it was actually brought down by, a detonation. Which the truth is, of course, that, the towers were brought down by a demolition at the bottom of the towers. That's true. However, airplanes were used in this in the event. And my main argument against anybody saying that, airplanes weren't used, my main argument I would have is, well, wait a second, there's a big problem here, a big flaw. I mean, I get if you want to make the assumption that the news faked it, which I call that bullshit too. But just for argument's sake, if you use that, we'll let that slide for the moment. So here's the big problem. Even if you claim the news agencies edited it in to scare people, but how do you get by the fact that there were hundreds of people that are there who managed to record it. A few people captured the first plane on video, but a lot of people, a lot more, captured the second plane. And somebody might say, well, wait a second, but that proves that there's something weird because, wait, why would people be recording to capture the first plane if nothing's happening? And my response would be, as remember, New York is the tourist, um, the main tourist attraction in the world, right? Everybody is coming to New York to see it, right? You got people around the world who dream about visiting New York City, right? That's the main tourist attraction of the world. Out of any city on earth, the number one city that everybody dreams about going to at least once in their life is New York City. Like, I mean, there is no argument that that's not true. Clearly, that's the fact, right? So, with that statement being said, it makes much sense that you'd have people that are recording, taking pictures and have their cameras out and ready in New York City on any given day of time, right? That just makes sense off of face value, given the fact that it's the tourist, capital of the world where everybody wants to go to at least once in their life. So that explains why so many people had their cameras out and were able to record these things taking place, is because everybody would have them out to begin with because they're, taking videos or pictures of New York City and their experience that they're having there. So the main moral of the argument is, wait a second, so you mean to tell me that that all of these random everyday people that managed to capture this on video, they all somehow faked it? I mean, it's like, come on, it literally makes no sense. It literally makes no sense whatsoever to claim that, these average everyday people, they just faked it and then put it online for views. It's like, come on, that's completely ridiculous. Because what happened was, during our conversation, I sent him a video on YouTube and I wanted him to explain to me, it's like, well, what about this video was fake? And it was about, just one of the random videos about how people captured the second building hit the tower. I mean, the second plane hit the tower. Bear with me. I'm walking out here, so excuse me if I stutter. But yeah, the video showed the plane hit the tower. So I want to ask the dude, like, okay, so here's just a random video I found online out of thousands. So please explain to me what about this is fake. I mean, please explain to me about what about this video is fake. And he doesn't know. His best argument that fully chained mind could explain to me, all he could really say is that, well, the video was uploaded 2 years ago to YouTube. So if it was real, wouldn't it be uploaded like, 10 years ago or 15 years ago? It's like, why was it uploaded 2 years ago? So see, it shows there's something fishy with it, right? And I responded and said, well, first of all, somebody could have just had the video on their phone and didn't want to upload it to the internet due to the fact that it's a tragic event. So they might think twice about uploading that to the internet, but then years later they might have changed their mind and said, you know what, people might be educated by this video so they can see what happened on that day, and then they might upload it, all these years later. So that doesn't mean that it's not real or some manipulation going on just because it's uploaded years later. Doesn't mean that. So by the same line of logic, because again, he thinks all the plane videos are fake, right? So by the same line of logic, what about the videos uploaded, say, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, of the planes hitting the towers? So by your same line of logic, would you say those are real then, since they were uploaded all those years ago? And he couldn't say they were real because, again, he said all planes in the videos are all fake, right? So those videos couldn't be real by his logic. So again, it's amazing to me the mental gymnastics, for lack of better words, that these guys got to perform, just to make their shit make sense, make the bullshit they're saying make any type of sense. Again, it's astounding to me, how, as Mina Shareg would say, how mentally retarded, people are out here, man. It's amazing to think about. It's like, I got idiots out here talking about, shit, what the hell do you got people out here talking about? You got people out here saying that Jesus was white. You got people out here thinking that we're living in the kingdom of heaven right now. You got people out here saying that the blacks are not the real Israelites. You got people out here saying that Esau don't exist anymore. You got people out here saying that the physical sun in the sky is actually God. I mean, that's just a handful of, the bullshit that people are going around on YouTube speaking about. So I made a statement, years ago about how, you can't just believe everybody because they call themselves to be a truther. Like, don't just believe everybody that goes on the internet, makes a YouTube account, and claims that they're a Bible believing truther. Don't just believe that, man, because you're going to find out that a lot of these guys that they proclaim to be truthers, you're going to find out that a lot of the so-called truths that they believe and teach are actually wrong. So again, the Bible speaks about you have to try the people, you have to try them to see if they're actually of God or not, man. That's what it says. You got to try the spirits, and it also says that you would know them by their fruits. What does the fruit mean? The fruit means like how they're living their life, right? You would know somebody by their fruits, meaning you'd know if somebody is a real believer in Christ by how they live their life. If they live their life, regarding around the the teachings of Christ that you read about in the Bible. Because again, there's a lot of people out here that claim to be Christians, but then if you look at their lifestyle and how they're living, they're not living very Christ-like. So all they're doing is just claiming that they believe. But then when you examine, if they're actually practicing what they're saying, then you find out that they fall short. Got Christians out here, on Sunday they'll be like, well, we're believers in Christ, right? We believe in Jesus, that he died for our sins. But yeah, any other day of the week, you can't tell the difference between that person and just a regular atheist or Satanist or agnostic living in the world. Like, I mean, there is no difference you could show or see that would show you that person is actually a Christian, because they live their life just like those other groups of people I mentioned. So just saying that you believe, that's not going to be enough to save you. Like, I mean, that's completely ridiculous. That's as stupid as saying, well, if you want to be a millionaire, if you just make the statement and say that you want to be a millionaire, that will now mean that you are a millionaire. It's like, no, it don't work that way. So same thing with saying that you believe in Jesus. Just because you say you believe in Jesus and your actions don't show you do, then guess what? You don't. There's a saying that goes, actions speak louder than words, right? It's saying that goes, your actions, they speak louder than words. And that's what God's looking for, man. God's looking at your actions. He's not looking at your words. As in, what do I mean by that? I mean that, you could have a person who might say all these righteous things and might claim, to be for Christ and be for the Bible. But then any other day, they're living their life just like a regular sinner would. So again, the Bible calls that lip service, right? These churches out here, they give what's called lip service to God. They don't actually believe in him or believe in his son, who they call Jesus. They don't actually believe, because if they did, their life and how they live would match up with the teachings of the Bible. But the fact that it doesn't, it proves that they don't actually believe what they say they do. Like, say, for example, bear with me a second. Wait, hold on a second. Let me just check this real quick. I've been waiting to get a message from somebody on Discord. I think you just sent it. Let me send this guy a link real quick. Let's see if I'll get, what's this guy, Jamie, aka Babylon? We'll see if I can get him on here. Let me just 1 second. I've been meaning to talk to that dude for a while now, man. Let's see. Yo, this one guy, man. What are you saying in the chat? Who are you talking about? And what's up, Eric? How you doing, man? But anyway, not to get too far off topic, man. That's why even Christ himself, he warned about, in his teachings, man, that, what is that? Matthew 7:21. Not everybody that says to me, Lord, Lord, is going to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whereas you're going to have many people that confess to Christ that they believe, but he's going to deny them. They're going to get rejected, salvation. So again, anybody going around teaching that all you have to do is say you believe and then you're good. I mean, anybody teaching that is clearly teaching in violation of the Bible. I mean, clearly in violation of the Bible. If you're saying that that all you got to do is confess with your mouth that you believe and then you're good. But all you got to do is repeat, as they say, that sinner's prayer, right? The sinner's prayer. And then once you do that, then that means that you're saved. Like, say for an example, This is what the preacher Perry does with his children, right? You know, and it's damn sad to see this. But what he'll do is make his kids go on live stream. You know, they'll say a prayer, and then at the end of the prayer, Perry will ask them, you know, can you sin? Is it possible for you to sin? And they'll be like, no, it's not possible for us to commit any sins because Jesus paid for it all. And of course, what do they mean when they say Jesus paid for it all? What they mean when they say he paid for it all, that means that anything you do in your life that goes against God's law, it's acceptable because you accepted that Christ died on the cross for all of those things. So again, what they're basically saying, what Perry's taught them, is that, you know, if you want to, you know, steal, murder, sleep around with animals, if you want to do all those things, it's all lawful now because Jesus died on the cross for you to do all those things. I mean, that's literally, you know, what they're saying. Okay, bear with me a second. I see someone in the back chat. I'll bring them up.